Hey, you, I don't like your girlfriend. What's up, sons? It's Blind Run with Son of a Tech once again, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Radeon RX 6600 XT for mining, of course, things like, at least in this video, Ravencoin, Ergo, and Ethereum. I'll be adding other algorithms and coins as I can, but these are the ones that I have right now. They're the top 3 most profitable, with a huge surprise of Ravencoin coming out on top. Let's get into the details right after a word from our sponsor. Today's sponsor is myself. To support the channel, click the join button below the video and you will get access to our privately hosted Rocket Chat. Selecting the $1.99 option will get you access, and after that you need to head over to the membership tab, scroll down, and expand out your membership perks. Find the section for connecting on social media, and in that section there will be a secret registration URL to join Rocket Chat, where you can sign up to enjoy talking with other cryptocurrency enthusiasts and miners without spammers, scammers, or bots. Welcome back. So let's go ahead and hit the specifications and get those out of the way. This particular card is going to be from MSI. It is the MEC 2X version, and it has 8 gigabytes of GDDR6 over 192-bit bus, and that's going to be the primary things you're looking at when we're talking about mining, primarily because most of the algorithms are memory intensive, even Ravencoin, even Ergo. So that is going to be a big deal, and this particular card does have a smaller bus at 128 bits, so you shouldn't be expecting things like, of course, the performance that you would see on cards like the 3070 or the 6800 series, of course, because your bus has been cut. It's a small bus. We're on the short bus today. But that's okay. It can still be profitable because the power consumption is incredibly good. The power consumption is rated at 160 watts, and that is over a single 8-pin PCI connector. So you shouldn't have to really worry about too much. You could build a whole 6-card rig possibly off of a single PSU, obviously a beefy one. We're talking about 2000 watts or something like that, right? But it is going to allow you to essentially be able to put more cards on a single rig and have less power adapters needed for them. Also, you should get good efficiency out of it, and that's what we're starting to see here. It does support PCI Express Gen 4. Of course, for mining, you won't need that. The cores are 2048 cores on this particular card, with a boost clock up to 2602, as opposed to, I think the reference is 2413. So if you're looking at core clocks, this one core clock's a little bit higher. So let's get into the visuals around the card. This looks like pretty much every other mech that you've seen to date. The cooler design is pretty similar. We will be doing a teardown on this channel to check out the thermal pad placement later on, because as you may know, the mech overclocks in the past on the 5000 series had some misplacement of pads in the initial batches. I don't foresee this being an issue on this particular card because the temperatures were quite good. That being said, of course, you still need to check it out and see where we're at. Now, the memory modules and the core are actively cooled. However, everything else on the board is passively cooled. So your caps, all that sort of stuff is passively cooled, and that could possibly cause issues in the future if you are not in a, let's say, a well-regulated temperature facility, right? So it's really going to be up to you on how you want to handle that and which cards you pick. Of course, usually if we're taking a look at the Radeon series, Sapphires are known to be really good. The XFX are known to be really good. MSI is kind of down there on the totem pole. And this one in particular also runs about 560, which is a little too expensive, but you can get them in stock at Micro Center right now. There are a couple other options that are cheaper, like the Power Color that is under 500, and I wasn't able to pick one of those up. I know some people that have, and it appears that the numbers are going to be the same across all of these. So during testing, the temperatures didn't go above 60°C, which was pretty incredible, and that was on junction temperature as well as on the core, and we experienced no throttling. We did get some overclock numbers on all of these, and that's what we're going to be going with for profitability here, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page. The 8-pin PCI connector goes up, not out the back. So if you are looking at configurations, of course, that would be important to note. And then the fan design is basically, you know, the same that you've seen on every other mech overclock. You have those 2 fans on the front, and it does support, of course, the no fan, I guess, mode, but you probably want to turn that off, obviously, if you're mining, and you can turn that off in the Radeon software package, Adrenaline package. Let's get into hash rates, because that's what you guys are here for. So on Ethereum, with an overclock, we were able to get the memory up to 2150, and we were able to pull down the core voltage to 762 and pull down the core clock down to 1150, somewhere around there. And that netted us 32 mega hash a second at 80 watts from the wall and at 56 watts in the software. So this is what we have to talk about. I have been changing up my test suite to make sure that we can get power at the wall per GPU. And this can be a little bit tricky because you need to take into account, of course, power supply efficiency. The way that I have this set up is that we are using a riser for the GPU, and then we plug that riser into the test bench, and then we have a separate power supply, which is an EVGA 750 watt gold power supply with the VGA PCI power adapters coming off of them. One goes into, of course, the PCI riser board, and then one goes into the GPU, and then that is plugged into that power supply is plugged into a kilowatt, and I just trip pins 4 and 5 on the CPU power from the power supply to get it up and running. What does this mean? Well, since it's gold, we're actually only anywhere from obviously 80 plus means 80% efficiency. And then from there, what you have essentially is this, and this can be a little confusing. So for 80 plus gold, at 20% load, you are 87% efficient. And then at 50% load, you're 90% efficient. And at 100% load, you're 87% efficient. So essentially what you're looking at here is going to be about 13% that we need to take off of the reading, which was at 80 watts, to kind of get an idea of what the card is actually pulling. At the same time, I calculated the profitability off of it in this particular case on what was coming from the wall. So it's in worst case scenario, what you could be expecting. And basically what that means is that we can take like the 10% off of that 80, and you're really looking at 72 watts on the wall. If you add that other 3%, it's somewhere between, 69 to 72 watts from the wall. And that will obviously change dependent on the efficiency of your power supply and the load on your power supply. So once again, we used worst case scenario. I just wanted to give you guys the testing methodology here. So next we have, of course, Ravencoin. And Ravencoin is 17 mega hash a second at 95 watts at the wall, with, of course, in the software reporting pretty dang low, actually. So the software reporting's not doing super good, and we just need to pay attention to that, because in the software for Ravencoin, it was reporting 5 watts on the power consumption. So if you guys are currently trying to analyze power consumption, etc., for these new 6600 XTs, it's probably not accurate in the software. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, finally, we have Ergo, and with Ergo, which is the Autolicos algorithm, we were able to get to 60 mega hash a second at 77 watts. And so if we plug all of that into what to mine here, what you should see right here is that Ravencoin is the most profitable on the RX 6600 XT as of today, which is August 15th, 2021. And this could be changing. And that is $2.68 of revenue before power, with a power cost of 10 cents a kilowatt hour. You would have $2.45 after power of pure profit. And then on Ethereum, you're looking at $2.52 before power and $2.32 after power. And then finally on Ergo, you would be looking at $1.82 before power and $1.64 after power. So I also wanted to address something else. This is, of course, the Radeon series, and they aren't going to perform as well on things like Cortex or Conflux. If you guys would like me to make a video dedicated to like why that's not functioning as well, we can go over it. But what I wanted to do was get kind of the big daddies out there that we know are profitable, that a lot of people are looking at. These three are kind of on my radar, as well as probably y'all's, and then get the numbers out for it. I was super impressed with the performance on Ravencoin, and to give you guys the settings on those real quick, we had the voltage turned down to 900 millivolts because going below that starts dropping the hash rate. And we had the core frequency at 1600 megahertz, and then the memory frequency at 2250 megahertz. So those are the overclocks for Ravencoin, and that really got us in the lead. Stock, it was really only at about 14 mega hash a second. So there you go. There's the review for the AMD Radeon RX 6600 XT for the hash rates. If you enjoyed this content, please be sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe down below. We have a 3080 Ti coming in that we're going to review, and we're going to be taking a look again at the 1660 Super because we haven't looked at that in a few years. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next Tuesday. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe to see more. Also, you can check out this playlist for more content talking about cryptocurrency.